the timeline that they gave us yesterday. 9:48 p.m., Nancy's garage door opened. We believe that's the family. We believe it was Tomas dropping her off, though we could be wrong because the sheriff keeps changing his story on that.
Exactly.
Told the New York Times it was Tomas. Then he changed it at the presser to, we're going to go with family. So dropped her off 9:48 p.m. Saturday night. 9:50 p.m., Nancy's garage door closed. So clearly she went in through her garage to her house. So in that 2-minute time frame, it opened, it closed, and we believe she went inside. Then at 1:47 a.m., the police said yesterday her doorbell cams were disconnected. So that's when we believe the bad guy, whoever it was, destroyed and took.
Who does this to a 84-year-old lady? Who does that? It has to be somebody really weird. Who does that?
It's our understanding. These doorbell cams, Ashley's reporting on the front and the back at 1:47 a.m. 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on cam. No video is available. 2:28 a.m., the pacemaker app shows a disconnection from the phone. So she's got a pacemaker in her body that communicates with her phone and an app. And we are told that if it gets some 30 feet away from the phone, if she gets some 30 feet away from the phone, you'll get it'll disconnect. Now, so clearly she was being taken out of the house around that time. 2:28. So if you go from 1:47 a.m., which is when the doorbell cam got disconnected, to 2:28 a.m., which is when her pacemaker, meaning she, got far enough away from her phone that the app stopped communicating with the pacemaker, that is 41 minutes.
Sad.
41 minutes. What was a kidnapper doing in Nancy Guthrie's home for 41 minutes?
Facts.
How does it take 41 minutes to kidnap an 84-year-old woman? I realize they don't move slowly. It certainly appears as though she fought. Something happened to cause her to bleed on her front porch or patio area, as it appears she was being taken out of the home.
Blood thinners.
By 41 minutes? You got to take off some time to smash the cameras, but that happened, 1:47, the doorbell got disconnected.
If he had not been there before, how would he know how many cameras to smash? Okay, even though this guy seems like he hadn't been there before. He's fumbling around at the front door. I've said this already. He's fumbling around at the front door. This is weird.
How long could that possibly take? 10 minutes? 1:57 now? Now it's 31 minutes. To get her and get out of the house? Why? That's too long.
It is.
I don't know whether something else happened inside that house. Was there a struggle? Did someone take her life?
Oh, God, please.
Is that what happened?
Don't say that.
And then in a panic removed her?
It is really, really.
Really? Come on. Really? Come on. Stop with the dramatics. All right, guys. Nancy Guthrie is still missing. She missing. 84 years old and she is missing. This case is getting weird. It's getting weird. But what I don't like is, guys, all this damn speculation, but that's all we could do, because guess what? None of us was up in that camp. We don't know what happened. The only people who know what happened is Nancy Guthrie and whoever abducted her. My whole question is, why in thy hell was Nancy living in the middle of nowhere? Okay, in that particular neighborhood, guys, they pride themselves on it being dark than a mofo. Okay, no street lights whatsoever. And I think that's one of the main reasons why Nancy is a victim. Okay, we are on day 11, going on day 12 up in this camp. And I want to know in the comments, guys, do you think that Nancy is still alive? This case is weird.
Fox News alert, TMZ is reporting ransom money may have just exchanged hands.
About 12 minutes ago, we saw activity in that account. That's what I can't talk about. There are reasons I can't, but all I can say is there is now activity in that Bitcoin account.
Is that a glove?
Oh, shit. Is that a glove? Now we getting into some O.J. Simpson type of shit.
It says, quoting here, the Pima County Sheriff's Department, assisted by the FBI's evidence response team, is conducting a court-authorized search of a location in Rio Rico, Arizona, related to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. This
Right. You don't watch the Today Show.
So this is the guy that they detained, and now his ass is out. He is out. Okay, he said he don't know nothing about it, but what makes him look very suspicious to me is that he says he delivers packages. Okay, that's what makes me suspicious. Okay, and also he does some DoorDash. But however, guys, this is weird as shit. He does DoorDash, and his whole damn family is in the car when he delivers stuff. Now, guys, I have done DoorDash a time or two. Okay, I have had stuff delivered to me, and yes, there is a gang of mofos up in the car sometimes. So I don't know how weird that is. That might be the norm. I don't know. But I am thinking, okay, if he does DoorDash, if he delivers packages, is there a great possibility that he delivered a package to Nancy's house? Okay, guys, that's all we could do is speculate. Like I say, none of us was there. This shit is sad. None of us was there. This is sad.
With Brandon Tatum, former Tucson police officer.
Break it down.
Yeah, what does this say to you? Both the activity at Savannah Guthrie's sister's home, Annie Guthrie, the scouring of the brush, interviewing neighbors, trying to get their video, and now the activity in the Bitcoin wallet itself. What are you thinking tonight?
Well, Laura, it's all very bizarre because I can't tell what's what. I do not think this was ever a ransom situation, in my opinion. Hearing that there's new activity in the Bitcoin account is also strange. This guy who came to the door was clearly a rookie or someone who's not very well planned on doing anything.
Fumbling like a mofo.
Because he carried the gun the way he did. He's trying to cover the Ring camera with brush. He's not informed about the layout of the house. It's all very strange here. And the fact that the sister...
And you know what, guys? People are sort of kind of alluding to the fact that is a great possibility. Tomas, who is the son-in-law of Nancy, might have had something to do with it. Now, if he did have something to do with it, guys, I believe he might have hired somebody. But I don't believe that this is Tomas. By no means. Because you have been married to Annie, I don't know how long. Y'all been married for some years. And you don't know the layout of your mother-in-law's house. She's lived there for over 50 freaking years. And you're fumbling around at the door. You're finding some brush to put in front of your face, to put in front of the camera, while you tried to take that mofo off of there. That can't be Tomas, but that could be somebody allegedly that he hired.
And also the brother-in-law are being investigated to any degree.
Boom.
Adds another level of suspicion because they were allegedly the last people to see Miss Guthrie alive. So it's very bizarre. This is a very interesting case, and I'm interested to see what the SWAT team does next.
Given that backpack, the look of the backpack, the mask itself, the types of gloves used, do you believe that...
You know what? I gotta laugh at that motherfucking backpack. Okay, you are supposed to be a criminal in the middle of the night, and you have the nerve to have a backpack that has these damn reflectors on it, okay? So anytime a car goes by or anytime a light hits you, it's going to reflect, okay? And people are going to notice your monkey behind out there in the middle of the night, okay? Guys, in this neighborhood, and I've said this before, in this neighborhood, they pride themselves on having it dark out there. Okay, they did not have not one street light out there. So you are drawing attention to your motherfucking behind because you have all these reflectors on you. That's weird. This has amateur written all over it, if you ask me. It really does. It has amateur night written all over it, guys. The views expressed in this particular video and all my videos, guys, are my views. Take it or leave it. Do whatever the heck you want to do with it. I promise you, I don't give two shits. Okay, guys, people I talk about in these videos are presumed innocent until they are found guilty. These videos are for adults. They're not for kids, and it's meant for educational purposes. Okay, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it.
That gear was bought in one place at one time?
Really?
And if so, is it worth scouring the surveillance video, as we've seen in so many other cases with guns and so forth, for cash register footage matching the eyes in that video that we saw from the night in question?
Well, I think 1,000%. I mean, the way this guy operates, it doesn't seem that he's well thought. He's thinking this thing through. And someone like this, who's very immature in the way he's going about these things, would buy everything in one place. And it's very suspicious they would have a backpack that's that full. It doesn't seem like it has a couple items in it. It's packed full. It's almost like he have a blanket stuffed in his backpack, which to me is all very bizarre.
Okay, this mofo going for a sleepover over Nancy's house. He gonna go over there and take a nap, and then he gonna kidnap her. Dude is weird. Dude is weird. And before I get any emails from you mofos, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm not saying that Nancy is deceased, but I have talked about people who are deceased. I am not here to make fun of people who are deceased. I'm not here to make fun of the decedent. I'm making fun of these stupid mofos who think they could go in people's houses, kidnap little old ladies. I'm making fun of those type of peoples. I'm not making fun of the decedent. Do not get it twisted up. Do not email with, don't email me with no bullshit. With the bullshit, I ain't got time for it.
Bizarre. I'm leaning towards believing that this could be a little more going on here. Maybe as if this could potentially be staged. I mean, if a person has a backpack full of equipment to do a job, you would think he would have equipment to damage the Ring camera.
A Ring camera. That's exactly right.
Spray or a screwdriver or anything. And someone who knows what they're doing wouldn't be on the camera that long.
It's weird.
You want to get in and out. You don't want to be visible too long. He's showing his face, his eyes. You can see what gloves he has on. You can see his backpack. I mean, he's literally giving away every ounce of evidence. And if he's the one that got into the house and he's...
You know what? I said this earlier. That the gloves, to me, people were saying that the gloves are leather. The gloves look like they plastic than a mofo to me. Okay, looks like some surgical gloves. Didn't look like they were leather. Guys, go ahead, put it in the comment. What do you think? Are those leather gloves or are those plastic gloves?
It's there for 45 minutes. You're leaving so much evidence. It's incredible. So
he come to take a nap.
This is a very suspicious case to me.
We don't know if there was a struggle. We don't know, Brandon, if valuables were taken from the home or even an attempt to take valuables from the home. But to get a 150-pound person out of that home who was injured, maybe is a fireman's carry, Brandon, right? But could be two people. Brandon, your best guess here tonight.
Well, in my opinion, I think that it looks staged to me to a certain degree of this gentleman. It doesn't look like he's equipped and ready to do anything. But I think a woman of her stature, being an elderly woman, not very mobile, that's easy for a person to get her and run her out of there. I mean, she's not going to put up a big fight. She has a heart condition. She's very frail.
That's sad.
And it just appears to me that none of that may have happened. And, this may have been a burglary or something gone wrong. And this ransom is not really associated. I cannot see a person who's that unprepared going to now ask for a ransom. I don't see those two things connecting, but I can't wait to see when SWAT team gets to because I was on a SWAT team in Tucson. When SWAT team is active and moving, that means that they have a target to some degree. They're going to go and deploy somewhere. Either they have a location for the suspect, either they're going to spontaneously, engage with the suspect to some degree. When you see the SWAT deployed, they're not there to be nice and do death notifications. They're there to...
You see what I'm saying? Look how big that damn house is. Why was Nancy in there by herself? 84 years old. There should have been somebody there 24/7 with her. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. And guys, all we could do is speculate. Okay? What I'm saying is, whoever did this... and I'm not really sure what's going on with this guy, because this guy act like he ain't never been there before. This is the weird part. But I had said before this video footage came out, whoever did this had to been there before. Okay, you just don't. That's not what you do, is go to a house in the middle of the night, smashing cameras. You don't even know where the cameras are. You never been there. If you say you never been there before, You don't even know what to smash. You don't know how many cameras to smash. You don't know what she got up in there. You don't know if she has a dog or whatever the case may be. You don't know who lives with her. You had to have cased out the place before. But this guy's on idiot mode. He act like he don't know what the hell he doing.
Actively do SWAT business.
Yeah, whether that Bitcoin is just a total red herring, that ransom notes are red herring. It's very, very curious.
It's weird.
Could be two people, a lot we don't know.
It reported that Nancy was supposed to be going to some kind of church, right? That she was scheduled to attend an in-person church service. But what really happened is that Nancy regularly gathered with a small group of friends to watch a New York-based church service via live stream ever since, 2020 and the pandemic. The group would meet at one of the friends' homes and watch the service live.
So some of you are sitting up here saying Nancy didn't go to church. She did go to church. She went to church online with her friends. And that's what happened. She was supposed to go to one of her friends' house. She did not show up. And that's what got the ball rolling. Okay? Don't sit up here and talk about she didn't go to church. She did. She did it online. She did it with her friends. And thank goodness she had some type of regular routine. Because of that, that's how they figured out something wasn't right.
From Savannah Guthrie's church in New York. So she did not arrive at her friend's house as expected to watch that live stream. And that's when the friend contacted Annie, Nancy's daughter, and Savannah Guthrie's sister, to report that Nancy had not shown up. The source emphasized that Nancy was expected to be at her friend's home that morning, not at a Tucson church, and said the circumstances surrounding her absence have been inaccurately described in some coverage. Okay. AI and the internet have been doing some.
So guys, this guy evidently is in the band that Nancy's son-in-law is involved with. Okay. Tomas is in a band. Okay. That's what I'm saying. This mofo ain't making no money. And I'm not here to bash school teachers, but this mofo wasn't making no money. Okay, Tomas only makes, and guys, I Googled it. Go ahead and Google it if you're interested. He was only making $60,000 a year. And for what I understand, and he wasn't balling either. Okay, so how is it that you guys are only living 11 minutes away down the road from your mother, aka mother-in-law? Okay, I know the neighborhood can get bad like that. 11 minutes away. You're living close to $1 million homes, so I know your home got to be off the chain too, as far as price. Okay, so rumors have had it, guys. These are rumors and allegations. That they were in some debt, and that's why everybody is thinking there's a great possibility Tomas might have been involved. Now, this is one of his band members. Okay, and when you do put these pictures side to side, it sort of kind of looks like him. However, when you really look at that doggone mustache, his mustache, this guy's with the mask on, his mustache is a little fuller than this other guy, the band member. So I'm not really sure what's going on. Guys, all the speculation, that's all we could do until we find out what really happened to Nancy Guthrie.
Trying to find out who this masked, curated eyebrow, thick eyelash individual was. At first, in my earlier video, I thought maybe it was a woman. Now I'm kind of second guessing that after doing some new digging and research. And I want you to notice something about this photo right here. The way this dude is standing and their gait, and why Tommaso is now somebody who really, really rings true as someone who could be in that mask right there. Could be that person, that individual that the Nest camera caught that FBI Patel released. So you'll notice this close-up right here. There's facial hair in the mask. You can see in the middle bottom of your screen, indicating that this individual had a pretty good amount of facial hair, whether a mustache, beard, or both. There's a quick kind of side-by-side of Tomas.
Like Tomas has like a full Santa Claus thing. He rocking that full Santa Claus thing. And I don't see a bunch of hair in that doggone mask. Guys, put it in the comments. What do you think? I don't see Tomas, his beard is like way the hell down here. You know what I'm saying? Santa Claus jealous. Okay, I don't see all of that. I don't see all of that. And it's not depicted in this picture, but guys, Tomas is really like salt and pepper up in here. And I don't see no salt and pepper whatsoever going on here. And if you really look at the eyebrows are thin. The guy with the mask, the eyebrows are thin. But Tomas, shit, he almost like a damn unibrow. He almost has one eyebrow. So no, I don't think that's him.
Also, the son-in-law and the masked suspect right there. Okay, this is where AI has come in right here.
Before we get any farther, guys, I want to thank Professor Naz for sharing this information with us.
What you see on the screen right here is AI putting a mask on Dominic Aaron Lee Evans. Dominic Aaron Lee Evans is a longtime friend and former bandmate of Tommaso Cioni, Annie Guthrie's husband, Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law. That is very eerily similar, because if you look at the facial hair on the chin there, you look at the eyes and the eyebrows, that is...
Yeah, that sort of kind of look like that dude. It sort of kind of looks like him. It does. Put it in the description, guys. Put it in the comments. I'm talking about put it in the description. Put it in the comments. Do you think that this could be the same guy? Okay? Because it sort of kind of looks like him to me. But I'll tell you what, he don't look like Tomas. He don't look like Tomas. No way in heck all of this would have been smooth. Okay? Because Tomas, I'm telling you, Tomas is rocking the Santa Claus thing. He's got a full beard. Got a full mustache. His eyebrows are thicker. Like I said, he almost like a unibrow. He almost got one freaking eyebrow. It doesn't look like Tomas to me. Guys, go ahead and put it in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think about it, guys?
Is eerie, extremely eerie, because, you know, if you see this image right here of the suspect in the video that was released and this Evans character, you start to notice some very eerie similarities. Also, this photo that I put on the thumbnail. So we asked Grok AI to take the mask off, and that is what AI come up with.
Okay.
And it is really, really,
really. Come on. Really? Come on. Stop with the dramatics. Anyway, guys, he does look like the band member. He does look like Tomas's friend. He does. I will say that. He really does. But guys, AI is a trip. AI is a trip, guys. You got to be careful with AI.
Really accurate as far as what the individual may look like. Again,
Dude,
AI technology is so advanced now. It's absolutely out of this world. It's doing all sorts of things in many, many different fields and many, many different industries. I have an AI assistant that helps me with my work and research. I mean, this is...
Okay, you're babbling like a mofo.
Police work is tedious.
Yes, it is.
Okay? The investigator's tool is a scalpel, not an axe. So it's hard work to find this stuff, and it takes boots on the ground. And that's even assuming that the glove is even a probative piece of evidence. We don't know that it is. We hope it is, but we don't really know. It could be a tremendous lead,
This is sad.
or it could be absolutely nothing. And this is what they have to deal with.
And my assume, and I'll let Richard take it over from here, but I'm assuming if you find a glove there, you're going to start looking all around that 10 feet, 5 feet this way, whatever, hoping maybe he tossed a glove, drove a little further, tossed a hat, that sort of thing.
Right. Right. Well, you have enough manpower to grid search that whole area. Now, if they're at some point, they're going to presume if he was in a car, and these are a lot of ifs, but you have to move.
First of all, you cannot tell me that he walked acres and acres to get to Nancy Guthrie's home. Okay? Unless it was, which I doubt, guys, because I've seen some video footage. This was not the first home as soon as you came into that community. Okay? So he, regardless if he had been there or not, he did not walk, okay, in there. Because if he walked in there, and his plan was to kidnap Nancy, okay, what are you going to do? Walk back acres and acres and have a 150-pound lady on your back, old lady on your back who has medical problems, okay? Guys, she was only 150 pounds. But when somebody is sick, somebody is bleeding, probably unconscious, shit, 150 pounds can turn into 250 real quick on your behind. So no, please don't tell me. You cannot tell me that this fool walked past other homes with the stupid ass reflecting vest that he had on, backpack that he had on. This fool had reflectors on. He had reflectors on the doggone backpack. Okay? That's a dead giveaway. Any car, and I just said this, guys, any car, any light that hit that backpack with them stupid ass reflectors on it, guys, they're going to be, anybody driving and be like, oh, who is that? Susie. Who is that? You know, they're driving. You know, you got Herman and Susie, and Herman drives past his ass, and he has all these damn reflectors. He's like, Susie, did you see that? Come on now. And plus, with all those reflectors, they said all of those homes had those Nest cameras on it. So one of those homes, or a couple of those homes, had to have captured him walking through the neighborhood, if that's what you're trying to tell me. But he had to have had a car, okay? But I believe he parked the car, like not right outside Nancy's home, but very close, because he knew once he kidnapped her, allegedly, if that was his game plan, which this shit is dumb, is a mofo. His whole plan was probably to take her to the car. Now, he not trying to drag a 150-pound lady into the car that's parked miles away. That ain't what he's trying to do. That's some Marine type of stuff. He's been watching too much television if that's what his plan was. And a lot of people are sitting up here saying that the cadaver dogs might have missed the fact that Nancy is still in that neighborhood, that she never left. And that is a great possibility.
Nancy's body, right? If she's with you. So we assume he's in a car, and what direction they're traveling.
Great assumption.
That's going to be where the concentration of the search is. That would be if you were limited in personnel, which they are not. So you could grid search that whole area and the direction what the car is in, back further, and see the hope. I think that we're speculating here, but it's at least possible that this guy's driving down the road, throwing stuff out the window, assuming no one's ever going to find it.
That's dumb as hell.
Yes, very, very good idea, and it's absolutely
You driving down the road, throwing stuff out the window that could possibly have your fingerprints on it, your DNA on it. Oh my God. We on idiot mode. That's what mode we are right now. We are definitely on idiot mode. There ain't no way in hell that I'm gonna be throwing stuff out the window. At first, that's drawing more attention to your stupid ass too. You throwing shit out the window, okay? And then a great possibility it could be some DNA on it that could track it back to you. I've said this before, guys. Whoever did this was an inside job. But this guy at the door, I don't know how he comes into play. This shit is weird. I don't know how he came into play, but it definitely seems like that was his first time there.
Investigative prudence demands that you grid search that whole area where the glove was found.
I think the public, Ralph, is frustrated at this point.
Break it down.
It's been so many days, and then even finally last night we think, okay, yesterday first we get the break on the video, then we get somebody's detained, and the way it was being reported was we're very close to solving something in this case. And then we wake up this morning and everything is like pulled back. And it's like, no, actually that person was released. And yeah, I think it's disappointing for a lot of people. And again, that frustration that we're all relating to this case and we all want an answer. Maybe, you know, similar to like we feel we talked about this relating to the Guthrie family. We can all relate to this story. As someone who has probably solved a lot of cases or looked at a lot of cases, the importance of time and really being meticulous with those cases is
he said we can all relate to this to this story. Okay, guys, my mother is not quite 80 years old, but she's on 80's back door. But I'm gonna tell you what, anybody thinking about kidnapping my mama, if you don't take her with the mofo hearing aids, trust and believe she'll be back by lunchtime. Trust and believe she will be back by lunchtime, because you repeating yourself is going to drive you bananas. I'm going to tell you that right now. So anybody listening, if you plan on kidnapping my mama and you don't have her hearing aids, you going to be in for a rude motherfucking awakening.
Probably very, very important right now.
Yeah, it's a very, very slow process. I know that this case is playing out on the media, in the media, and I can appreciate that. But that tends to be more of a distraction for law enforcement people. You have to go very slow, very methodical.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. It's being played out on the media, and the main reason why it's being played out on the media is because this fool decides that he's going to get a celebrity's mom, and he is sending ransom notes to the doggone media. See, that's weird. So everybody is looking at you now. Instead of picking a regular person that might have some money, you're going to pick a celebrity's mom. That's weird to me.
The person they detained today, once the video came out, they got tens of thousands of tips. Every one of those tips has to be run down. Some of them are absolute troops that call in. Some of them are people trying to get back at enemies, and they say that they were involved. Either way, and some of them are legitimate tips. Some of them are just well-meaning people that make mistakes, and what they thought they saw isn't probative.
I'm going to tell you what, those of you who are calling in with dumb stuff you know is fake, you need to be thrown under the jail. Police ain't have time for this BS. They are trying to solve this case, and they got to deal with your dumb behind calling in and giving fake stuff, okay? You need to be thrown under the jail because you're wasting the police's time, okay? Okay, that time can be spent on a real lead, not some BS because you mad at your husband and you gonna call a popo and try to make something up. I really seriously, guys, I really hate that to the bottom of my heart when people do that kind of shit.
Either way, every one of those has to be run down and investigated to its natural end.
Today's show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie, vanished from her Tucson home earlier this month. What began as a family nightmare quickly became a national headline. Nancy Guthrie was last seen on January 31st in the Catalina foothills area of Arizona. When she failed to attend church the next morning, her family reported her missing. Authorities now believe she did not leave voluntarily. Investigators say blood matching Nancy Guthrie's DNA was found on her porch. There were signs of a struggle, and the case is now being treated as a possible abduction.
So Nancy has medical issues. She has a pacemaker. I'm sure she's on blood thinners. Okay, the likelihood of her being under so much stress, the likelihood of her having a heart attack is great. Okay, this has to be stressful for her. She has been missing, going on 11 days. Her family has not heard from her. This has to be stressful. What I don't understand, and I've said this several times, why her? And a lot of people are pointing at her daughter, her oldest daughter, Annie, and Annie's husband. Okay? Let's just say that's true. Let's just say that's true, that Annie decided with her husband they're gonna do something to the mother, aka mother-in-law. Let's just say that's true. Why is that even necessary? Okay, I'm sure that Annie being 84 years old, guys, we can't expect too much more life out of Annie. And I'm not trying to be graphic. I'm trying to keep it real. She's 84. Okay, the likelihood of her expiring soon is great. Okay, so if you're trying to do this for some type of inheritance money, you're about to get the mofo anyway. Why was this necessary? Why would this makes absolutely no sense to me, especially when you're talking about one of the children being involved. Now, the son-in-law, that's a whole nother thing. Maybe he couldn't wait. Maybe he's not maybe he's not part of the inheritance. Maybe things are rocky between Annie and Tomas, who is the son-in-law. Who knows? Maybe he thought he was going to get cut out of the inheritance. Who knows? Whatever the case may be, this is sad. This is sad. It's unnecessary. And I said it before, anybody involved in this had to have been to this house before. But this idiot that's at the motherfucking door, the front door, fumbling around with a backpack on that has all these reflectors on it. He's fumbling around. He's got brush in his hand trying to hide his face or whatever the case may be. It is obvious that this fool has not been there before. And rumor has it that the back door was open. Now, Nancy lived in a big old house. The house was huge. So I am thinking maybe she forgot that the back door was open. I have done that myself. Guys. I have forgotten that the door was unlocked, and I slept all night with the doggone door unlocked, and I'm nowhere close to 80. But anyway, with that being said, I'm thinking that is probably what happened. Now, did Tomas hire somebody? I don't know, to unalive, and I'm not sure she's unalive, guys, but 11 days is a long time not to hear anything about your mother. But anyway, did Tomas unalive her? Or did Tomas kidnap her or hire somebody to kidnap her?
As the search intensified, something else began to happen online. Old clips of Savannah Guthrie's journalism, specifically her 2019 interviews with survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring, suddenly resurfaced and started trending again. Back in September 2019, just 2 months after Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in jail, Savannah Guthrie conducted a series of exclusive NBC Dateline interviews with women who said they were abused and trafficked by Epstein and his associates. One of those interviews was with Virginia Giuffre, who in her first exclusive television interview described being trafficked and sexually abused as a teenager. The special also gave a platform, many for the first time, to other survivors, including Anuska DeGiorgiou, Rachel Benavidez, Jennifer Araos, Marike Chartuni, and Shauntae Davies. At the time, the reporting was widely praised as giving survivors a voice. But now, those same interviews are being pulled back into the spotlight, not by journalists, but by social media speculation. Posts began circulating, drawing their own conclusions, suggesting without evidence that Savannah Guthrie's past Epstein reporting and her mother's disappearance could somehow be connected. One post on X read, quote, "Oh, I didn't know Savannah had interviewed Epstein. This whole thing gets more and more strange." Another claims,
what do you guys think? Does this, Epstein, interview, does it have something to do with Nancy being kidnapped? What do you do? What do you think? Put it in the comments. God, I don't know. That Epstein, before he left here, guys, he was a very powerful man. And another thing I don't understand is that Trump is supporting everybody pulling together and trying to find Nancy Guthrie. And I don't understand why, because Savannah chopped his ass up a couple of years ago during an interview. So now I don't understand why he is like in her corner. That is weird. What do you think, guys? Put it in the comments. What do you think? Guys, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. Please go ahead and do that, guys. But what do you think? What are your thoughts? This is weird.
Quote, "They will kidnap an elderly woman too." Others went even further, making allegations without proof, connecting unrelated deaths, and suggesting shadowy retaliation. There is no evidence supporting these claims, but the speculation kept spreading. Here's what is confirmed. In the latest release of the Epstein files, documents from the Department of Justice do reference Savannah Guthrie's Dateline interviews. One redacted email discusses a list of survivors interviewed for Dateline. Another notes, quote, "She's done another interview with Savannah Guthrie. They plan to air it on Today and Dateline." The mentions relate to media coverage, not wrongdoing. There is no indication that Guthrie herself is under investigation, and no confirmation of any link between those interviews and her mother's disappearance. Meanwhile, the search for Nancy Guthrie continues. Authorities say a ransom note purportedly involving cryptocurrency is being investigated, though its authenticity has not been confirmed. The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office remain involved.
So we already know that somebody, I believe the first ransom note was fake. And that's what I don't understand, guys. You calling in, presenting all this fake stuff, ransom notes and this, that, and the third. I don't think you should be let out of jail. Okay, I think you should be doing serious time because, like I said before, you are delaying them finding out what happened to Nancy Guthrie with presenting all of this fake stuff. But what do you guys think? This is weird. This individual made a fake ransom note saying that he wanted some Bitcoin currency. Okay, initially the Bitcoin currency went from $1 million to $6 million, and evidently the Guthrie family has paid some of it, but not quite all of it. And they wanted some, and I understand, they wanted some proof of life that their mother was still alive. Okay, I don't blame her. I'm not about to pay a dime. I need to know that my mother is alive. I'm not about to pay you nothing. Okay, I need to see my mother on video talking to me, responding back to me. I don't need to see no still picture. I don't know when the hell that was taken. I need to see a video. I need to get on video with my mother, and we need to be corresponding. That's the only way you're going to get some money from me. Check and mate.
For now, what remains is a painful reality.
Sad.
A journalist who once helped expose a powerful criminal network is now waiting, like any daughter would, for answers about her missing mother.
Horrible.
And until facts replace speculation, this story remains one of uncertainty, not conspiracy.
On Fox 1, Nancy Grace for more on tonight's breaking developments. All right, but we have a lot to unpack, but I want to start with something a little different because you were the...
Nancy be looking like I'm about to rip you a new one in 5 seconds. Nancy is not playing. Nancy, okay, guys, I haven't watched this whole thing, but Nancy can get on ignorant mode sometime. I'm trying to tell you.
One that said to me today, Sean,
she ain't playing.
One day that we've had a break in this case. Everybody that was expecting an arrest by the end of our show last night needs to get over it. This is not a Dateline episode. In other words, we're not going to get to the conclusion. This is real life. This is hard, tough.
Be careful with
policing.
Be careful with
Nancy. That
is
being done, and it may take some time.
Uh-oh.
Everyone had high hopes last night, including me. And through the night, many of us were looking at the news, looking it up on our cell phones and our iPads. This morning, hopes were dashed when we learned that the individual had been released. Is not connected to Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping. The search, I might add, went on for hours in his vicinity. So it seems that police were interested in that particular vicinity. But you're right. That's not the way investigations work. We have to pick ourselves up, like the FBI, like local law enforcement, like the Guthries, and keep going. The FBI certainly doesn't need us here tonight. But what if we uncover something? What if one tip comes in because of what you are doing, what we are doing? Therefore, we can't stop. And I want to bring something else up.
Bring it up, girl. Bring it up.
This guy was so careful to wear gloves. He didn't want to leave any finger.
You know what, guys? I was looking at the glove. People are saying it's leather, but it looks like it is. It looked like it's a rubber glove. Okay, it doesn't make a difference if the glove was found. Guys, if that glove was found, if the real glove was found, it's going to be DNA all up in that mofo. So the likelihood of us catching who did this is going to be, maybe, I don't know, maybe by the morning we're going to find out. This is weird.
Prints behind. What many perpetrators do not realize is they are leaving their fingerprints inside the glove.
Thank
now,
you.
problem,
DNA.
if it is a powdered glove, sometimes sweat and powder can mix together and blur the fingerprint. However, sometimes that powder can actually preserve the print. So we got that going for us. And it's not just that the gloves are similar to those we see on Nancy Guthrie's front porch that the perpetrator's wearing. It's location, location, location. Near her neighborhood, in her neighborhood, 1.5 miles away from the crime scene. Why were they there? Think. They were also combing the area around Campbell and Estrada today by the road. They were in pairs, stretched out, lots of them looking right alongside the road, going up into the cactus. Why? Why? I think there was a tip. I wonder, did someone see someone throw something out a car window? It's not a coincidence. There's no coincidence in criminal law.
I agree.
They're looking the roadway there, and they find a pair of gloves along the roadway. My point, keep the faith. It just takes one. Remember Gabby Petito, Sean?
Stay focused now. Stay focused.
Everybody was looking for that white Ford Transit, and then out of the blue, a citizen sleuth. I remember their name. It was Red, White, and Bethune. That was their handle. Out in the middle of dispersed camping, in the middle of nowhere, no porta potties, no electric hookups, they see a white Transit and go, hey, that's Gabby Petito's. If they hadn't done that, her remains would never have been found, and her parents would be wondering tonight, case. Where is Gabby? It just takes one. And regarding DNA, we saw him with the balaclava, the ski mask. We saw him with the gloves. We saw him with layers of clothing, which I got a theory on. He was trying so hard to leave no trace behind. He was in there 40-plus minutes. All I need, Sean, is one.
If you are in there kidnapping somebody and you had been there before, which it doesn't seem like this guy had been there before. This is what's making this whole case weird. Why do you need to be in there 30, 40 minutes? If you had been there before, okay, you could just go in there, smash the cameras, take Nancy. I'm not really sure how her nose got the bleeding, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Just because her nose was bleeding doesn't necessarily mean that she was physically hurt, because I'm going to tell you something. People who are on blood thinners and people who are stressed out, sometimes their faces get very flushed, and guess what? Blood vessels break in their nostrils. Maybe Nancy blew her nose, or maybe those blood vessels erupted in her nostrils and she started having a nosebleed. Anybody on the blood thinner, this happens a lot. This ain't nothing new that I'm saying. This happens a lot. So maybe she was not injured. Maybe she was, generally having a nosebleed. Okay? We don't need to assume that she was hurt. I'm praying that she wasn't hurt, because 84 years old, you're going to physically hurt 84 years old. That's weird.
Hair. One. Be it nuclear or non-nuclear, meaning no root or root. All I need is one. Why? Because that DNA that they have found there is coming back.
It is.
Even if he doesn't have a record. Still, genetic genealogy. Busted.
I went back, I looked at the temperature on the day of the abduction. It was about a little over, at its low point, it was in the mid-40s. Not exactly glove-wearing weather for most people. The fact that this glove was found makes that significant to me. The fact that they were searching in the foothills and they found the glove today does not seem coincidental to me. Thoughts?
Well, don't you know he was sweating bullets in those gloves?
There you go.
How tempting would it have been to take them off, throw them out the window, never thinking they would be found.
Dummy
and
mode.
It's interesting what Harvey Levin had his staff doing. We were doing the same. Found that Ozark backpack. And I want to tell you, it's not hard. You just take some doing. It really requires you going on something like Google Lens, right? Or if you're in your car, you can upload, if you're on your cell phone, you can upload an image. You can use Google Photo, Google Lens. You put it in, bam, you hit shopping, and it tells you everywhere it could be bought. And one more thing about the gloves. Taught Mom Casey Anthony. Trash bag, plastic. Did you know that these gloves, like trash bags, can be traced back to their lot, their batch, where they were made, and where they were sold in the individual area? They don't have an RN number inside of them, but they have a unique molecular makeup that can be traced.
Guys, with all this little evidence that we recently got with this picture, these gloves, this mask, this doggone backpack, I think it is safe to say that this mofo is going to be caught. Okay, especially if that is the glove that he was wearing. Okay, initially everybody was saying that looked like a female, but it looked like a man all day long to me. I don't know why people thought it was a female. But if that is the glove that he was wearing, that's his booty. That is his booty. Trust and believe it's only a matter of time.
Back to the very store where it was sold. Just try it.
Yeah, I love the fact that they were able to trace back the backpack, where it's sold, that could be a great way. Again, we've not had this video for a long period of time. Trace mentioned at the top of the show, Trace Gallagher, that there were other cameras on the property. I've got to wonder, and now the FBI director last night, right here on this program, Kash Patel, they now have persons of interest. I don't think that's changed from yesterday. The question is, you know, now that we know that there were other cameras there, can they go back and recover this tape?
See, this is the problem. Nancy Guthrie's subscription to her camera, Nest camera, was not renewed. That is the problem. But somehow they managed to get this video coverage from the front of the house. Somebody mentioned yesterday, and it made a lot of sense, that Nancy had a security door. Nancy had a security door. I have security doors at my house. There's no way in hell, I shouldn't say no way. There are ways that you can get in that door, but it's going to take you forever. It is going to take you forever. I have seen people drive into a security door and don't even get through. Okay, those security doors are bad mamma jammas. Okay, it's very hard to get through a security door. And I am thinking there's a great possibility that this person did not get through that home, get inside that home through that front door. That was close to impossible. They did say, and I mentioned this earlier, that the back door was open. And I am thinking maybe Nancy left that door open by mistake, and this is how this individual got there. The whole thing that this makes no sense whatsoever is this guy looks like this is his first time there. That's weird. How do you know how many cameras to smash? How do you know if she didn't have a dog? How do you know that there wasn't somebody there with her? Okay, it's a big house. She's 84 years old. How did you not know that somebody might have been waiting for you on the other side? That's weird to me.
If you remember, from the very get-go, the Pima County Sheriff's Office said they couldn't recover any of the tape.
Exactly.
And that gets into the issue of territorial
disputes.
Sometimes that happens when the FBI gets involved in a local case. And I would think everybody's all hands on deck, but that's not true. And that wasn't true in this case either, Nancy.
You're absolutely right. At the get-go, recall the sheriff stating, we tried, she didn't have a subscription. Oh, shucks. BS, technical legal term. The feds finally got their toe in the door. And within days, they have mined the vast information of Google. And of all those millions and millions of data points, they find Nancy Guthrie's Nest door cam and managed to extract images from it. It's amazing. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Could it have been done a week before if the feds hadn't been invited in earlier? That's an argument for another day. Tonight is Find Nancy Guthrie. It makes me wonder, too, is there going to be more video?
Let me ask you one last question.
What's with the music?
What about this third letter requesting one single Bitcoin? That's trading now at 67.5. The reward is 50. You know, why would somebody risk going to jail over, $17,000?
That's weird.
You know, Sean,
Watch it.
I've prosecuted a lot of violent criminals.
Watch
felonies. So are we supposed to trust a rat who wants to rat on a rat? There's a $50,000 reward, but he's committing a crime to get Bitcoin, 67 grand, while a family is suffering and a woman could be dying a slow death. The medicine, Sean, that she may need. If you look at that photo of her sitting in a lounge chair outside, it's like a picnic with a child, a little girl beside her, the face is blurred. Her left hand, you see a dark purplish bruising here. My dad had that. He was on Eliquis. Those types of medications, Eliquis, things for people with pacemakers, heart medication, can be easily gotten, for instance, in Mexico, very easily. She
within
could
the 9-hour
still be
radius.
on her meds. So I'm holding out. Yes.
I want everyone to.
Let's just pray that she's on her medication. But just like I said, guys, when you have guys, I'm a registered nurse. That's what I do. Okay. Been a registered nurse over 30 years. Okay. Been in the intensive care unit. Okay. Guys, these people are on blood thinners. I am not saying just because there was some blood droplets right outside her front door that she was physically hurt. These people have a tendency who on blood thinners, who have pacemakers, guys, they have nosebleeds on occasion. And I am praying that this idiot, because guys, it's clear we on idiot mode. It's very clear we on idiot mode. Okay? I am hoping that Nancy had a nosebleed because all of this stress this fool was putting upon her. And I'm hoping that he did not physically hurt her. I've said this before. I just said it a little bit ago. We're on day 11. Where's she at? We on day 11. Where is she at? Put it in the comments, guys. Put it in the comments. Do you think that Nancy is still with us? Okay, and you know what I mean when I say with us. Guys, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this particular video on this particular YouTube channel. This shit is weird.
We have another major development in the investigation and search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. According to a law enforcement official familiar with the investigation, Pima County authorities and the FBI have detained a person for questioning. We must stress at this point that we are also told by this source that the person has not been charged and is simply being detained for questioning this investigation. This comes hours after the FBI released haunting images of what they believe to be the suspect. They said he had nothing to do with it. Detained and abducted Nancy Guthrie from her home here 10 days ago.
This is, I believe, you're going to see live on NBC4, a flatbed truck. Just after 7 o'clock this evening, our camera captured video of a car being towed on a flatbed truck from the residence of Nancy Guthrie. A photo and video record of Nancy Guthrie's home shows the car taken was previously seen in Nancy Guthrie's garage and is believed to belong to her. The FBI returned to the home to continue crime scene processing today. The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office also say they are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. In a social media post, the FBI writing that they're actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity. The new message was sent to a Tucson television station, according to 3 officials briefed on the message. It is still unclear what kind of message it is and if it is connected to previously reported ransom notes.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
And now TMZ want to talk about what the letter said. Before they didn't want to say shit. Now they want to talk. It's crazy.
I will say the letter begins by saying she is safe but scared. And they go on to say she knows exactly what the demand is.
New shocking details have been revealed about the purported Nancy Guthrie ransom note by TMZ boss Harvey Levin, which was sent to the outlet 2 days after Savannah Guthrie's mom was reported missing.
This is what I don't understand about this whole case. Why would you, as the kidnapper, contact the media? It seems like you would want to be flying underneath the radar, not above it. That shit is weird.
Levin told Fox News' Sean Hannity that the note highlighted insider details about her suspected abduction, including information about her Apple Watch and a damaged floodlight at her $1 million home. Days earlier, TMZ reported that the note provided a deadline for the ransom payment in Bitcoin for her safe return, and implied something sinister would befall Nancy if the towering sum wasn't paid. It isn't clear if the purported note sent to TMZ was the same as the ones received by local Arizona affiliates.
This is the timeline that they gave us yesterday. 9:48 p.m., Nancy's garage door opened. We believe that's the family. We believe it was Tomas dropping her off, though we could be wrong because the sheriff keeps changing his story on that.
Exactly.
Told the New York Times it was Tomas. Then he changed it at the presser to, we're going to go with family. So dropped her off 9:48 p.m. Saturday night. 9:50 p.m. Nancy's garage door closed. So clearly she went in through her garage to her house. So in that 2-minute time frame, it opened, it closed, and we believe she went inside. Then at 1:47 a.m., the police said yesterday her doorbell cams were disconnected. So that's when we believe the bad guy, whoever it was, destroyed and took.
Who does this to a 84-year-old lady? Who does that? It has to be somebody really weird. Who does that?
It's our understanding. These doorbell cams, Ashley's reporting on the front and the back at 1:47 a.m. 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on cam. No video is available. 2:28 a.m., the pacemaker app shows a disconnection from the phone. So she's got a pacemaker in her body that communicates with her phone and an app. And we are told that if it gets some 30 feet away from the phone, if she gets some 30 feet away from the phone, it'll disconnect. Now, so clearly she was being taken out of the house around that time. 2:28. So if you go from 1:47 a.m., which is when the doorbell cam got disconnected, to 2:28 a.m., which is when her pacemaker, meaning she, got far enough away from her phone that the app stopped communicating with the pacemaker, that is 41 minutes.
Sad.
41 minutes. What was a kidnapper doing in Nancy Guthrie's home for 41 minutes?
Facts.
How does it take 41 minutes to kidnap an 84-year-old woman? I realize they don't move slowly. It certainly appears as though she fought. Something happened to cause her to bleed on her front porch or patio area, as it appears she was being taken out of the home.
Blood thinners.
But 41 minutes? You got to take off some time to smash the cameras, but that happened, 1:47, the doorbell got disconnected.
If he had not been there before, how would he know how many cameras to smash? Okay, even though this guy seems like he hadn't been there before. He's fumbling around at the front door. I've said this already. He's fumbling around at the front door. This is weird.
How long could that possibly take? 10 minutes? 1:57 now? Now it's 31 minutes. To get her and get out of the house? Why? That's too long.
It is.
I don't know whether something else happened inside that house. Was there a struggle? Did someone take her life?
Oh, God, please.
Is that what happened?
Don't say that.
And then in a panic removed her?
Exactly 1 week after Nancy Guthrie was first reported missing, Pima County Sheriff's deputies and their investigators were back out at Nancy's home, this time searching in the area behind her home. We saw investigators take a long pole and appear to search what may have been a septic tank. Investigators staying at the property for a little less than an hour searching, but eventually leaving empty-handed.
And this is the thing. They were saying that there's a great possibility that Nancy never left her neighborhood. But if that is the case, where is she? Where is she? This is sad.
Pima County Sheriff's Department says they will continue to search multiple locations until they find an answer.
Details this morning, nearly a week after Nancy Guthrie was first reported missing. Investigators say they're now reviewing what they call a new message connected to the case. The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office say they are working to verify the authenticity of that message, along with a ransom note sent out to media outlets demanding Bitcoin. Authorities say one deadline in that note has already passed.
So they're outside of Nancy's house, and they've been going back and forth between Nancy's house and her son-in-law, Tommaso. Annie is married to Tommaso.
I'm on my.
And thank you to JLR Investigates. He's got the bomb channel. Thank you for allowing me to use this coverage.
Sorry, Kate, I'm standing at the front of Nancy Guthrie's home here in Tucson, Arizona. This is where she disappeared from 11 days ago, but 5 minutes down the road, in the arterial road, police are saying it could be a very important discovery.
Sad.
A black glove was found on the side of the road, and it looked an awful lot like the black gloves that the person of interest in that video that was circulated by the FBI yesterday from the night of Nancy's abduction. That is the kind of gloves he appears to be wearing, and now investigators.
They're talking about the gloves. Well, glove that was found.
If they are, that is
I don't know if they found both gloves.
In this investigation. Earlier today, we also saw the sister of Savannah Guthrie, Annie Guthrie, so the other daughter, Nancy's other daughter. It was visited by police once again. It's at least the third time police have been at that property. That is about 10 minutes down the road. In one instance, police were there searching the property for upwards of 3 hours. There's no suggestion that they're suspects. Annie Guthrie and her husband, Tommaso, who do live nearby here, but they were the last ones who saw Nancy Guthrie and she disappeared. Tommaso, Nancy's sleeping, not too long.
When you say she lives in the neighborhood, she's a neighbor.
Gotcha. And then a photographing
Neighbor?
Don't do another one, but you include that comment that she lives in the neighborhood. She's a neighbor.
A neighbor.
I'm a neighbor. Don't put another tweet out there. Just say you put the comment that she is a neighbor. That's why I'm here. Did you see the comments that you got?
No. A neighbor. You're a neighbor?
Yeah, I live in the neighborhood.
Damn, how many times you gotta say she a neighbor? Damn. Slow bus.
On a regular basis, a friend of mine, her son is taught by Tommaso. Okay. A friend of mine. I don't go to that school. My kids don't go to that school. A friend of mine. But I live in this neighborhood.
Oh, sorry about that.
So could you include that comment, sir?
Yeah.
Can you include that?
Sure.
The lady speaking is a neighbor.
Lady speaking, a neighbor.
Yeah, the woman that's in the picture is a neighbor.
Somebody slowed in a mofo.
They're right down there.
I just got a care package, folks.
So, guys, I'm always impressed when these YouTubers fly to different states and do this coverage.
Neighbor of Nancy.
Come on, dude. You heard what she said. Shit.
Dude, she's literally watching herself on. I said, this woman says she knows Tommaso Ciani from the basic school and says the school is rallying behind him. And that's what she said, right? While she was talking while I was live. So she saw herself on Twitter. She goes, make sure you say I'm a neighbor.
So Tommaso is a school teacher. He is a school teacher, and from what I am gathering from this information is that his students are gathering behind him. They're rallying behind him. In other words, they have his back. Okay, come on. That's what students do. A lot of these students, dumb as a mofo. But anyway, I'm not really sure, guys, who did this. This is like bewildering to me.
It's like she's monitoring like everything. Like people are saying about it. Like, she's on Twitter. What do you think? That's exactly what she said, though, right? Hey, I added it. Woman says she is a neighbor of Nancy Guthrie. Good? You good? All right. Anything else you want me to add?
5 minutes of fame.
You're good. Okay.
Gotta love it.
You saw yourself on Twitter? Yeah. Not you're monitoring Twitter?
I was talking to a friend of mine, and she saw it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's comments there.
Yeah.
People like, what is she doing? I live in the neighborhood. There's so many neighbors walking up and down the street with their dogs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Thank you.
CCTV doorbell footage that has been circulated by
Oh my God, I saw you on. I got another care package, folks.
Very nice.
I got another care package.
Evidently, somebody actually sent him a pizza when he was out there. Guys, this is weird to me. How these people, these news reporters, are just right there at the damn crime scene, maybe contaminating the whole damn thing. This shit is weird. We don't know if Nancy is still in the area.
I'm going to drink it. Thank you. I don't even know where they came from. It was just provided to me.
Now, there was a lot of drama last night, local time. There was an arrest made. A man was arrested at a traffic stop south of Tucson. After that footage was circulated, police believe he was there in the footage.
Okay, this is getting boring. Let's see what else we got. This is a little boring. Just standing here looking cray-cray.
People wondering what is next, and we have seen FBI agents out here doing searches in the Catalina Foothills neighborhood, really right near Nancy Guthrie's home as well. And take a look.
Well, Mark Caribe, all day today, we saw law enforcement presence, FBI agents scattered through.
And I've said this in other videos, guys. Nancy, actually, I thought since the home was worth like a little bit over $1 million, that there was a great possibility that Savannah purchased that home for her mother. Nothing is furthest from the truth. Nancy and her husband purchased that home back in 1975 for $85,000. Now, I am sure Savannah helped them upgrade it since she become this big celebrity. The father died, I believe, when Savannah and her brothers and sisters were teenagers. But anyway, this is Nancy's home. This is not a home that Savannah bought. This is Nancy's home. And from what I understand from other reports, this is probably one of the cheapest homes in the neighborhood. But Nancy was doing her own thing. She wasn't sitting up here relying on her daughter. She was doing her own thing.
Out Nancy's neighborhood in the Catalina Foothills, really just searching everywhere, looking for any clues that they might be able to find to help them solve this case. And to step out of the way, we just saw a new Pima County Sheriff's deputy pull up in just the last few minutes. Looks like it's a shift change here as we continue to monitor Nancy's home. But the investigators really are chasing down some leads, and as this search expands,
they just standing out there.
can expect to see more law enforcement activity across the county. So take a look at this video. We followed along in the air and on the ground as agents broke off into smaller groups and went street by street looking for anything that might help their
All right, let's fast forward this. See what's going on.
Where, you know where else black gloves was shared? On the media yesterday, the whole world saw a guy with black gloves.
Yeah. Yeah, and
who's to say that whoever journalist happened to
Thank you, JLR Investigates. Appreciate you.
be there to catch that photo went ahead of time and just whoop, threw a black glove down, and then went there when the media.
And so is that what
Why
people
do
are
people
thinking, that someone put a black glove over? Because it's like,
Could you imagine? Now they're saying it's a great possibility somebody might have just planted that glove there. See what I'm saying? Police don't have time for this bullshit. Police do not have time for this bullshit. This shit is getting weird. Why would you do something like that?
puffy kind of, right?
Need to be thrown under jail.
This. And no one saw a black glove before. You would think that's odd. You think?
Yeah, and that's why I don't know where they found it, but yeah. That's
Whoever did that need to throw their ass in jail.
If it was found on her property, right, that would be a different thing. But if it was, I mean, think how many couple thousand people been through here? You know, the last 11 days.
So the gentleman that got detained in Rio Rico, Carlos, what's your take on that? Do you think he's involved?
Man, after watching that interview right when you were right there, I mean, he seemed pretty, you know.
Guys, check out his channel. It's off the chain. Check it out.
I believe him.
I believe him too.
I mean, I've had that reaction like, hey man, don't blame me.
If he was involved, they would have kept him. They wouldn't have let him go.
He wouldn't have been able, and they had proof of him being in Rio Rico Saturday night.
Yeah, he had an alibi he provided. His stepmom was defending him.
People have phones and stuff, so it wouldn't be hard to say, oh yeah,
show your alibi right here. Here I am. Here's my digital footprint.
Yeah.
Boom, cleared. All right.
Look,
So I thought that was the mother-in-law who gave him an alibi. The mother-in-law of the guy that they detained actually gave him an alibi and said that he was there with his children.
He lost the bet, and he put a bet on. You could see he was at home.
He got a
that
lawsuit
night.
though.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt if something, happens out of that.
So,
I was gonna say whoever's close to him should start a GoFundMe to get a new door. Just the GoFundMe Carlos door or something.
The GoFundMe Carlos door.
Someone, but has to be close to the family that does it for him.
So they busted the door, huh? How much does the door cost?
Well, he said they busted the garage in the back or something.
Yeah, who
it
gonna
wasn't
pay for
just
that
the
shit?
door. It was a couple doors and
bullshit.
But next thing you know, he'll have $1 million door or something.
So, where do you think goes from here? Like, what do you think that's going to happen the next couple days or tomorrow, or what's next? What do you
Who
think?
knows?
What do you expect to see?
I think everybody's so emotionally invested that in how many investigators are on the case. It's like they're not going to stop, and eventually, if we don't get any new leads, then they're going to have to release some more information, something more that they're not holding. They're holding tight to their,
like a vehicle.
Like I said, how do we not have any cameras of a vehicle that was driving or something?
Good
Even
point.
if it was a grainy photo.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, Chris Nanos hasn't really. They should have.
Yeah, what about
that should have been searched by the sheriffs already. All these areas. So
they were getting all on Chris Nanos behind, who's the chief of police, because he went to a game, I think a football game. Okay, guys, who gives two shits? Nobody cares. Okay, is he supposed to be eating, breathing, sleeping this whole damn case all the time? He's not the only one who works for that police department. So every time a case happens, his whole life has to shut down. That's some bullcrap. I totally disagree. I don't care if he went to a game or not. I'm sure when he went to the game, somebody else was on the case. There's somebody always on this case, guys. This is a celebrity situation. That's weird.
At this point, to answer your question, I don't. Like I said, those 4,000 tips that came in, I'm hoping. Yeah, JLR and 857.
Boom.
I'm hoping that one of those tips is like, oh, we got somebody.
Good. So we are looking at a area where they are thinking, because this is the community. I'm assuming this is the community where Nancy Guthrie lives. And they're thinking that whoever the kidnapper was came out of this community, and either they made a right or a left here on East Orange Grove Road. And that's what I'm telling you guys. She is living in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where the first house even begins if we would go down this road here. I don't, guys, this is, well, yeah, the first couple of houses come pretty quick. But that's what I'm saying, guys. You see, no street lights whatsoever. You're in the middle of nowhere. There's not one street light anywhere to be found in this area. This is weird. This is weird. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to walk. You're not going to walk through this neighborhood. And then you're going to walk back out to the main street. Somebody's camera had to have a glimpse of something out here. Okay. And then they're saying that the kidnapper went to this main road here and either made a right or a left here. This is where they exited. Okay. See what I'm saying, guys? We're in the middle of nowhere. Okay. In the middle of nowhere. Okay. You have to drive a car up in this mofo. You're not going to be doing any walking, guys. And those of you who have never been to Arizona, guys, I used to live in Mesa, and I've actually visited Tucson, not this part of Tucson. But, guys, all of this is desert, okay? The heat alone will kill you, okay? But believe it or not, it does get cold there at night, which is another reason why you're not going to come there without a vehicle. It gets very cold at night and it gets hot as Hades in the daytime. But as you can see, we're in the middle of nowhere. Okay, we're on acres and acres of land. People are not, they have some beautiful homes out here. People are not coming out here unless you have a reason. Okay, unless you have a reason, you're not just coming out here. That's not going to happen. There is a reason why you're coming out here, and this is what I'm saying. This person who allegedly did this to Miss Nancy, kidnapped her, they've been out here before, guys. You're not coming out here just to come out here. Let's see some of the houses here. I don't know. Is that a house? I think that is a house. Okay, let's see. It looks like we at a somewhat busy intersection here. But guys, it's not a whole lot of people living out here. Okay. This is weird. I don't know. This sort of kind of looks like an apartment complex. Okay. But this is the road they're saying that the assailant went down after he left Mrs. Nancy's home. Guys, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to this particular video and this particular YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And, you know, this is crazy. This is crazy. Who would do this to a 84-year-old lady? And it's apparent that the guy who is outside of the door of Nancy Guthrie, he's fumbling around. He don't know what the hell he doing. He don't. He does not know what he's doing. I'm not really sure if this is the real guy or not, or is it a coincidence? I don't know, guys. Who knows? Speculation of the yin yang up in this camp. We really don't know what's going on here. Either they would make a left or a right when they came to this intersection, or maybe they went all the way across the street. Who knows? Hell, it could be a neighbor. It could be a neighbor. These houses are nice little distance away from each other. They said like the lease acreage is like 1 acre, which is, you know, fairly big. But guys, you know, nobody's walking to kidnap an 84-year-old lady without a vehicle. It doesn't make any sense. If it makes sense to you guys, go ahead and put something in the comment. But it doesn't make any sense that you would try to abduct somebody. Even the walk, let's just say this is not the house, guys, but even the walk from this house to the road, an 84-year-old lady in the heat, or at that time in the cold, because the abduction happened in the wee hours of the morning. That's a nice little walk for somebody in their 80s, okay? In this uneven terrain, a recipe for disaster. A recipe for disaster. Go ahead, guys, put it in the comments what you think about this whole, I don't know, walking up to her house without a car. You know, that's cray-cray. That's cray-cray to me.
John Benet's father, John Ramsey, and Elizabeth's father, Ed Smart, join us both now. First, thank you both so much for coming on the show tonight. You have both walked this terrible, awful path that the Guthries are now on. Someone you love taken. Can you each describe what those first few hours and days were like? The anxiety, the panic, and the desperation. John, you start.
Well, thank you, and it's nice to be with Ed again. I met him years ago. I've described the feeling as when you're in a department store and your little child that's with you disappears.
Oh my God!
For a moment, and you have this gut punch feeling, like where is she? Where is he? It's a horrible feeling, but it only lasts for a minute until you find her. You know,
in the store, right?
You know, but this goes on for, in my case, 6 hours. In his case, went on for 8 months. And I met him years ago, and I said, "How did you do it?" I couldn't imagine sleeping or anything until I got my child back.
Exactly. That's horrible.
So it's torment. It's like being hit in the head with a baseball bat. Your brain is, you're in shock, you're in trauma. It's difficult to make decisions.
And what was it like for you, and how did you endure all those months?
You know, I'm thinking about the guy from America's Most Wanted. Actually, that's how he got his start on that television show, because his son was abducted at a mall, and later on they found him unalived and beheaded. Walsh is his last name. This is sad. You know, a child, a parent, my God, this is horrible. Your elderly mother is missing and you don't know where the heck she's at.
You know, I think initially you can't believe that it's happening to you. It's just impossible to believe that. How could this possibly? Why? Immediately, our attention went to, where is Elizabeth? How is she? How is she surviving? What is she going through? That just never ends. And for John, I can only imagine not getting those answers is something. It's like an open wound that never closes up. It never goes away because it's always there. So for our family, you know, you really don't have a choice in the matter. You can, you know, hide and pretend like it never happened, withdraw from all of your friends in society. But if you have any hope of getting them back, you have to be out there, you know, trying to solicit the.
I know with that John Benet Ramsey case, they were looking at the parents as well as her brother in that particular case. That Elizabeth Smart case, I'm not really sure if they were looking at the parents in that situation. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know about that Elizabeth Smart case, but this is weird.
Public. I think the public really is the greatest resource that we have. And I'm glad to see that the FBI and the PIMA.
Guys, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Are you familiar with the Elizabeth Smart case? Tell me whether or not they were blaming the parents for her being missing. I apologize, guys. I don't know about all of these cases. I've heard of the case, but I did not follow that case. Go ahead and put it in the comments, guys. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this particular video and this particular YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it.
County police or sheriff are calling on the public, because I think that is the way answers come, tips come in.
Well, and the Guthrie family. I mean, Savannah, who is a very famous journalist in this country, very well known, and her brother and sister have been out putting out public videos, putting out public pleas, putting out public messages to the kidnappers. Savannah has said in her latest video that she believes her mother is still alive. Ed, did you ever give up hope that Elizabeth was alive?
I didn't give up hope. The bottom line is that the stress and the anxiety from the case from day one on gets to be overwhelming, and you do want it to just come to an end, whatever the end is. I did have a feeling that Elizabeth was still out there and that we couldn't give up hope. And even at moments when things seemed so incredibly difficult, I still had this feeling that she was out there and we had to do everything we could to try and find her. So, you know, that's different with every family.
Okay, so one more question. This one's from me. I thought of it this morning. I'm curious. Last night we saw this video. I think it surprised everybody what we saw on that video. This morning they said they got thousands of tips from that video. And then they sent the FBI out to canvass her neighborhood. So what do you think that they might have found in that video that led them back to her block?
Well, I think sometimes people see a little bit of what they want to see. We all know that. You know, it's a funny thing, but the studies demonstrate that eyewitness testimony is among the most fallible of testimonies of evidence that you can have in a case. So I have a feeling that there are a lot of people out there looking at his walk, looking at his mannerisms, and saying, that's my gardener, that's my cousin, that's my nephew who I never liked, you know, things like that. There's a certain amount of projection going on. And if it is happening that way, you know, people are overlaying things that I think that they are seeing in their neighborhood, because let's you know, acknowledge people in the neighborhood are very shaken up. This is not a high crime neighborhood. To have this kind of attention all of a sudden has really, I can see it, you know, driving around up there, throwing a monkey wrench into everything. And the other thing I think that's worth mentioning here is that a lot of the people are older. And it's not entirely sure that everybody is seeing the stuff that's being put out. So I think one of the things the authorities are doing is, on the assumption that this person has had some experience with the house, and so you want to look locally, let's make sure everybody in the housing development, it's a pretty good sized development, make sure that they've seen this video, taken a good look at it, because you might get the one person who actually says, I know this guy and it's right.
Yeah. I think the other thing to keep in mind too is the FBI right now is drinking from a fire hose. They got 4,000 something tips since that video was released. That's going to take a lot of time. They have tremendous resources dedicated to this investigation, but still, that's going to take a lot of time. One tip can occupy a few agents for hours to try to really follow up on that and make sure that you've seen it to its logical conclusion. So the idea that they've received 4,000 tips, that's going to take time, and that could bring them in many different directions. Who knows?
You know what, guys? I don't really like screwing around with Fox News. I really don't, because they love them some Donald Trump. I don't know who the hell you voted for, but anyway, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, if you know what I mean. But it's very sad. Now they're being flooded with a bunch of tips, and I don't understand when people like bring them false information. That is just crazy to me. You are delaying what the cops need to be focusing on. That is weird to me.
Turning to developing news now, the FBI is intensifying the search for the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie in southern Arizona.
Yeah, agents are searching along roads in the Catalina foothills north of Tucson near the home of Nancy Guthrie. Agents are canvassing the area less than a mile from her residence.
Out there in the middle of the
Investigators
night,
are looking for possible evidence tied to a person seen on doorbell camera video. Arizona authorities have since released a man who was detained for questioning last night. He is not facing any charges.
This scene last night near the U.S.-Mexico border, it's interesting where, I mean, we had, was covering it when a man was detained. I fell asleep before knowing who he was, and I wake up to seeing him, like Entertainment Tonight's on his front steps, and he's doing these interviews saying he has no idea who even Savannah Guthrie is or Nancy Guthrie and what the case was going on. And he was probably detained for like 5 hours. I would say the time from the traffic stop to then when he's back at his house. He says he's innocent, and that very well.
You know what, guys? Put it in the comments. Did you know who Nancy Guthrie was before all of this jumped off? I didn't. I didn't know who Savannah Guthrie's mother was. I didn't. I'm going to just be honest. Go ahead and put it in the comments.
Well, may be the case, but when someone is detained and then released, like, what can you take away from that?
Well, it sounds to me like they kept him detained while they executed the search warrant. I'm sure they didn't want him around when they did the warrant. So the detention was probably to keep him away from the house and the search warrant.
Makes sense.
The fact that he's released so quickly, I mean, I don't know if they think he did it, but I think what's very important here is, again, when we look back into this thing, if you're doing this investigation, you're saying, I got to look at delivery drivers, I got to look at maintenance workers, I got to look at landscapers, I got to look at anybody that has access to this property. Now, just being a delivery driver in the area is not going to be enough to get probable cause for a search warrant. So the fact that he's detained and released so quickly, I think possibly they're more concerned with his associates than him.
That was my next question, because there was a search of Annie Guthrie's home over the weekend, and that was a consensual search. And I saw a lot of people saying, like, why does it matter that everybody just keeps saying it's a consensual search? In this case, you had to go to a judge, and a judge would have to look and sign off and say that you have permission to go into Carlos's house and take his electronic devices and do all of that. Typically, when you get, how often is a search warrant denied? Like, what do you need to bring to the table that a judge can sign off, especially in a case as high profile as this, and let you just go explore and see if you can find what you're looking for?
Well, you have to convince a judge that there's probable cause. What does probable cause mean? It means that a reasonable person would believe that making entry, following the Fourth Amendment search and seizure rules, making entry to this house, a reasonable person would believe that there would be evidence in there from this crime. So, and again, you have to be specific on what you're looking for. You have to be specific on what crime you're investigating. And I'm curious as to who wrote the warrant. Is it a federal warrant? Or
you know what? What I'm curious about, they went into Carlos's house, and I'm sorry, guys, I can't pronounce his last name. This is the guy who was detained, and they did some damage up in there. Who the hell gonna pay for that? Who's gonna pay for that? That's what I want to know. Who is going to pay? If he is really innocent, who's going to pay for that? That's not right. You going up in his house, you damages his stuff, you damages his front door. Who the hell going to pay for that?
Or is it local law enforcement warrant? So you have to convince a judge, and reasonableness is always the standard, that if we make entry into this person's house, into their home,
facts,
that there's something in this house that we're going to recover that will aid in this investigation. And however they did that, it's in the affidavit.
So if he was, and he was the one who suggested, he said, I'm a delivery driver in Tucson. Maybe I delivered a package to her home. You know, I'm paraphrasing, something along those lines. If you're a federal agent or a local sheriff's deputy and you go to a judge and you say, we're just trying to look at people who were at and had access to Nancy Guthrie's home. This guy was a delivery driver. Can I go into his house? I would need more than that to get the AOK to execute a search warrant.
Yep. That on itself would not be enough because there's a million, I don't know, a million, but there's several. There's UPS, there's FedEx, there's DHL, there's all these delivery services. And here's the thing. On a lot of these, like Amazon, they'll contract people out who aren't necessarily driving Amazon trucks.
True that.
They're driving their own cars, dropping stuff off. So it's an awful lot to vet. And you're not just going to take, first of all, you're not going to get any kind of PC on just an anonymous tip. Judge is not going to sign off on that. And the fact that he's just a delivery driver in the area is not going to be enough. So there's more there. There's more there for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, you have this moment, and I think sometimes when you follow stories in the news, it's like, okay, person's detained, and then the natural progression is they get arrested. Then the natural progression after that is they're charged, and we get the mugshot, and like that's how the story goes in a lot of cases. But in this one, it's he was detained and he was released. How often when someone is detained in a situation like
crazy.
this, it's just, hey, we got the wrong guy. We went into the house and there's literally nothing there.
Well, it happens, but it doesn't happen that frequently. When you talk about going to the house, there's nothing there, but they did take stuff out of the house. They took all his electronics. Again, like I said earlier, it may not be him. It may be people that he made a phone call to, and maybe they have some kind of electronic footprint.
So what do you guys think? You think it's Carlos? I don't know. He seems like he's sincere when he said it wasn't him. But my whole thing is he does deliver packages in that area. There's a great possibility he went to Nancy's house at one point. But the whole thing, and what another thing that makes sense that why I'm thinking it might be him, which I'm not really sure if it's him or not. I mean, this guy's like fumbling around at the door. He's fumbling around at the door. Maybe, you know, if you got some kind of UPS driver, whatever the case may be, they don't get any further than the front door. So maybe he doesn't know about what's going on in the back of the house or whatever the case may be. Guys, put it in the comments whether or not you think Carlos did it or not. I personally don't think he did it. Really don't. Guys, all of this shit is speculations to the thousandth power. Okay? This is speculation of the yin yang.
Or fingerprint, rather, that says he was in the area 2 days prior, or he's been in the area multiple times, and maybe he did make a delivery, or maybe he didn't. But he was still in the area, and then he made a phone call to whoever, or he sent an email to whoever. So I think that they're interested in his associates as much as they are him.
And he seemed, I mean, authentic to an extent, like on his front steps, like trying to clear his name and played very much. And I don't know if it's playing, like maybe he was just saying like, I have no idea why I'm in this situation. Like when you're on the other end of the table, if you're the FBI speaking to him yet, like, if you're the FBI that's, you know, interviewing him, like how many cards are you laying out so he knows actually why you are speaking to him?
Straight out to Chris McDonough joining us, director of the Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective. He's worked Oceanside, California. He's worked over 300 homicides in a 25-year career.
Break it down.
That's his expertise. And he is the star of The Interview Room on YouTube. What do you make of a rat ratting out a rat? Can he be believed? And does nobody understand Bitcoin can be traced? You put that wallet up there, throw in $100. The minute it is transferred out, bam, the IRS can do it. The DOJ can do it. The FBI can do it.
Boom.
Unless they move the money to a foreign country that has low or no Bitcoin regulation. In other words, there's nothing for us to subpoena. There's nothing there because there's no regulation. We can get him.
Let's get him.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember that guy that used to send the, hey, you're the heir of a Nigerian prince, and for $1 million, we'll hold it. Okay, this is just a bunch of noise that's going on around this thing. What's really
What are you
important
talking
here
about?
is refocus back at the house, and that's what the investigators are doing. And what you were talking about a little bit ago,
Day 11.
Nancy, on this search that's going on here. If they do find a piece of clothing, one evidentiary path that they can go down is they can look at that clothing, and there's what they call an RN number on the tags. If the clothing was manufactured overseas, they're going to be able to get right down to the cash register where that clothing was purchased.
Get his ass in.
Put him up, please. Put him up. Okay, you got me at RN number. Start right there.
Yeah. So an RN number, and I actually had a homicide where we pulled the RN number and we found where the suspect had purchased his clothing. What it is, it's a Federal Trade Commission number, and it's mandatory for any kind of import clothing from overseas. And every piece of clothing has it. Let's say if it was made, in Indonesia or something to that effect. Well, with that number, the Federal Trade Commission tracks the inventory as it comes into the United States, and then the distribution points of.
Now, I hope he's not dumb enough to have just purchased that outfit, the whole outfit recently. Are you cray? They're going to get your ass. Now, that's dumb as hell.
As to where that particular clothing went, including backpacks.
Well, McDonough, you're brilliant. I just plugged in RN number. You can actually search the RN database. There is an RN database.
That's going to be his behind.
Wow. You had a case and you used the RN database? How?
Yeah, the suspect pulled off his jacket and he left it in a drainage ditch behind the murder scene. And so we pulled that number through the Federal Trade Commission, and we were able to find out, when the item was manufactured, who the distributors were, and then we traced it to a store in a mall nearby, and we were able to go to that mall and pull the purchase receipt of all of those types of jackets. And then we had the credit card numbers, and we just kind of, through elimination, ended up with our guy.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I understand it that far, but how did you get it into evidence?
Easily. We just showed them the chain of custody, how we did it. And the DA was able to.
And Chris McDonough, did you get him?
Yes, he actually, first degree murder during the commission of a robbery.
Boom.
Yeah, and the victim was David Tabor. Yeah, it was three nationals, by the way.
I'm gonna tell you something, guys, and I don't mean to cut him off. Those of you who are thinking about committing a crime, I'm gonna tell you what not to wear. Do not wear that camouflage. Those camouflage pants and the camouflage shirt or the camouflage jacket, whatever the case may be. That army fatigue stuff. Guys, those prints are pretty much gonna seal the nail in your coffin. Do not wear that, okay? Because that stuff, after they cut it, guys, it becomes sort of kind of like a unique fingerprint, okay, if you know what I mean. And I've seen a lot of dummies commit crimes and they have that shit on, and that's a recipe for disaster.
From over the border.
RN number. That's amazing.
Number.
In our effort to
Nancy,
try and figure out, and I guarantee you did this as local law enforcement. No telling what the FBI can do. Because let me just throw this at you. Everyone was wondering, how did they get the images off the front porch? Let's just drink them in for another moment, because this is a big, huge break. Okay. Where did they come from? This is how it went down. And Brian Fitzgibbons, jump in if I've got anything wrong. Or you too, Coles Rude. This is what happened. You can see up at the top right, it says Nest. That's Nancy Guthrie's camera system through Nest. Nest is part of Google. We know Nancy did not have a subscription.
This guy was an amateur.
So the video wasn't kept. How did we get the video? It was gone. Well, CAST, C-A-S-T, Cellular Analysis Survey Team.
Break it down.
Used all of their efforts, and they reached Google, and they then mined Google's vast inventory, their data. I mean, think of Indiana Jones' Raiders of the Lost Ark, where you find out the Ark of the Covenant. That's the Lost Ark. The Ark of the Covenant that holds the Ten Commandments is way, way, way at the end of a long, long aisle, floor to ceiling, in a dusty old box, never to be seen again. So that's what it's like to go into Google's database or their archives. But the FBI did it. They went through all of that data, and they find Nancy Guthrie's door cam.
Good.
And they resurrect this. Power to the feds. What I'm saying, Chris McDonough, you solve that case with the RN number off a jacket down a drain pipe. What can they do? Now, here is our sad but earnest effort. Let's see what our staffers at Crime Stories came up with. We were looking for that very unique ski mask, or since it comes down over the neck, a balaclava. It's got unique stitching around the eyes. The nose is not shown.
It looks like it's from Target. It looks like it's from Target. And one thing I want to add, guys, okay, they're doing all of this stuff for a celebrity mom, Savannah's mother, Miss Nancy. Would they do this shit for you and me? Would they do this for somebody broke than a mofo? All of this special surveillance and retrieving, you know, a camera footage if we didn't have a subscription. My whole thing is that, would that be done for us?
Just that hole for the mouth. And you have the vertical ribs gray in color.
Target.
I guarantee you somebody somewhere is doing this right now. Let's look at the jacket. The jacket has a very unique zip down the front. Now remember, in the lighting where the perp actually is not true. It's not a true depiction. So they're going to have to figure out, was this, I've seen all sorts of transformations online. Is this real? What color was it? They could probably pick out what size it is.
Target.
The zipper is reflective. So that's what we know about.
Yeah. Why are you wearing reflective? I said this earlier, guys. Why are you wearing reflective type of stuff to go to somebody's home when the second the light hits it, everybody and their mama gonna see you? That is like weird. This guy here is like on retarded mode.
About that, again, Walmart. That'd be the first place I would look, the local Walmart, because we believe this guy is from.
Guys, I said Target. That's Walmart. I am tripping. Guys, I hate to go to either store. Those stores would be too damn crowded for me, guys. I'm more of an online shopper. I apologize. That's Walmart. I thought that was Target.
Tucson. Why? His affinity with KGUN and KOLD. Also, he's a guy that goes to TMZ. Who goes to TMZ? There is a very specific group, a demographic that reads TMZ. I do. Who else does? Look at the backpack. What can we learn from the backpack? And
that doesn't look like the same backpack. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's crammed to the brim. He is not going in to take anything out. He's not in for a robbery or a burglary. He's taking something in, for Pete's sake. Let's see the other side, which I find to be very, very...
I don't know, guys. Does that look like the same one? It doesn't... I don't know. Maybe because of the lighting. Doesn't quite look like the same one. But what the hell? Why is he bringing all this stuff in? People said that he was bringing evidence in. What? You going to stage it or what? I don't get that. I don't get that. Why would you think that? Guys, put it in the comments. Why do you think he would bring stuff to the house? That's weird.
Very demonstrative. The two light. Look, on either shoulder, you can see the light reflectors. That's what they're looking for. An adult-sized backpack with these light reflectors, those shoulder patches he's got on his chest. They're looking for the balaclava. They're looking for the jacket. They're looking for the backpack. The gloves, at first, look like boxer's gloves. Is he wearing multiple layers?
Looks like it's plastic to me.
That said, we understand that that is being done right now. Okay, what do you think about that, Fitzgibbons?
No, you're absolutely right, Nancy. And they're, you know, so far as analyzing this video even further, they are breaking apart every single pixel around that mouth and those eyes on every exposed piece behind that mask. Now, obviously, it's an uphill battle.
Get him.
For whatever softwares and whatever abilities the FBI has. But they've already surprised us one time with recovering this video. I wouldn't be surprised if they did again.
Fitzgibbons is actually joining us from a scene. He is working. So, Fitz, before you sign off, can I talk to you about facial recognition? Because from that video...
You got to watch out for Nancy ass. When she starts speaking slow like that, facial recognition, we're about to be in trouble. She's about to get ignorant. I'm just going to call a thing a thing.
The FBI can determine, and local law enforcement can do this as well. It's not magic. It's not genius. They can look at this. They can measure the length, the height of the stones in Nancy Guthrie's porch, on her porch.
Late.
When he first walks in, when he first steps up on that step, and they can determine his height, probably down to about an inch. Okay, let's see him walk up the porch. Here we go. He's got his head down. That's not helpful. Keep going. Right there. Right there. When he was walking up and held his head up. Also, you can even get the size of this guy's shoe when he's stepping on those tiles.
Yeah.
There's one where he steps directly in at the beginning of the tile.
They already said this guy was about 5'10", 5'11".
Tile. We can get his shoe size. It's already been estimated to be a size 12. His height has been estimated between 5'11" and 6 feet.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Facial recognition. It's used at airports. It's used by people that already have clear to get on to planes. It's used by passport, quick lines, by global entry. All sorts of facial recognition is already out there. I mean, look at your iPhone, for Pete's sake. That's facial recognition.
There you go.
We need the distance between his eyes, from the inner part of the eyes to each other, from the outer part of the eyes to each other, the length of the nose, the width of the face, cheekbone to cheekbone, the length of the face, forehead to chin, and the size of the head. Brian Fitzgibbon.
They were already saying that it looked like Tomas, and Tomas is the son-in-law of Nancy. And he is married to Annie Guthrie, who is Nancy's oldest daughter. It don't look like Tomas to me. Tomas has a beard, a full beard, a thick mustache, some thick eyebrows, and he's sort of kind of salt and pepper. That guy doesn't look like he has any kind of salt and pepper in his beard or his mustache.
And can they do it?
I think they have an uphill battle to identify a suspect from these images in this video. However, what they are going to get to, and these are things that you just highlighted, they're going to have these measurements about the eyes, about the mouth, the height, the shoe size, that when they do have a suspect, when they're going to be able to use this video to confirm that suspect.
Good.
So it is valuable. They're going to go through this exercise, and that exercise will turn out to be valuable. What we're missing here is ratios, distance between the eyes, eyebrows, chin to nose. You know, these ratios are going to come together on any software for it to actually make that ID. And with that mask, we're obviously missing this. So we're dependent on all the other things, body language, height, shoe size, rough weight, and things like that.
This is the timeline that